The storm clouds above the Class 13 Deathworld churned with an unnatural ferocity, their deep crimson hues painting the sky like a warning etched in blood. Below them stretched a desolate expanse of jagged mountains and sprawling swamps where life thrived only in its most hostile forms. This was no ordinary planet. It was a place designed to kill, to consume, to erase any trace of intruders who dared set foot on its surface. And yet, humanity had sent soldiers here. Captain Ethan Hale stood at the edge of the dropship's ramp, his boots planted firmly as he surveyed the alien landscape. Behind him, the battalion prepared for deployment. 200 highly trained men and women equipped with state-of-the-art weaponry, armor reinforced against extreme environments, and neural implants that linked them to tactical systems. They were the best Earth had to offer, but even they could not mask the nervous energy crackling through the air. Final checks. Ethan barked over the comms, his voice steady despite the unease gnawing at his gut. We move out in 60 seconds. The mission briefing had been brief but chilling. A research outpost stationed on this world had gone dark weeks ago. No distress signal, no communication, just silence. Command suspected foul play, possibly from rival factions or indigenous threats. Whatever awaited them, it wasn't friendly. Class 13 worlds were classified as uninhabitable for humans, without extensive life support, and yet something or someone had managed to build an outpost here. That alone should have raised alarms. As the ramp lowered, the oppressive heat hit like a wall, carrying with it the stench of sulfur and decay. The ground beneath their feet shimmered faintly, almost alive, as though the very soil conspired against them. One by one, the soldiers disembarked, forming tight formations under Ethan's command. Their HUDs flickered with data streams, mapping terrain and scanning for hostiles. For now, there was nothing but eerie stillness. "Advance," Ethan ordered, raising his rifle. The team moved forward into the swampy wilderness, every step sinking slightly into the spongy earth. Strange flora loomed around them, twisted trees with bark that pulsed faintly, vines that writhed like serpents, and flowers that emitted a low hum when disturbed. It was beautiful in a grotesque way, but beauty here meant danger. Hours passed without incident, which only heightened the tension. Then came the first sign of trouble, a broken piece of equipment lying half-buried in the muck. It bore the insignia of the missing outpost. Nearby, scorch marks marred the trunks of nearby plants, evidence of a firefight. Ethan signaled for the squad to halt. "Spread out," he whispered. "Search for survivors." They fanned out cautiously, weapons ready. Private Maya Torres knelt beside a patch of disturbed ground, her gloved hand brushing away dirt to reveal skeletal remains. She recoiled sharply, signaling others. Ethan approached, crouching beside her. The bones were human, but they showed signs of unnatural fractures, as if whatever killed this person had done so with overwhelming force. Before anyone could speak, a deafening roar split the air. The soldiers spun toward the source, rifles raised. From the shadows emerged creatures unlike anything they'd ever seen. Towering bipedal beasts with elongated limbs and glowing eyes, their skin covered in chitinous plates. They moved with terrifying speed, closing the distance between them and the humans in seconds. "Open fire," Ethan shouted. The battalion responded instantly, unleashing a barrage of plasma rounds and kinetic projectiles. The creatures staggered, but did not fall easily. Armor-piercing rounds tore through their hides. They kept coming, clawed hands swiping at soldiers with deadly precision. Chaos erupted as the line broke, screams mixing with the cacophony of gunfire. Ethan fought alongside his comrades, his mind racing. These things weren't natural. They were engineered, bred for war. Who would create such monstrosities? Before he could dwell further, a massive form crashed through the foliage behind him. He turned just in time to see one of the beasts leap toward him, jaws agape. A well-placed grenade from Corporal Liam Dawson saved him, the explosion sending the creature sprawling, but the cost was high. Dozens lay dead or dying, their bodies shredded by claws and teeth. Retreat became the only option. "Fall back to the ridge," Ethan yelled, his voice hoarse. Those still standing obeyed, retreating in disciplined chaos while providing cover fire. The beasts pursued relentlessly, their roars echoing across the battlefield. Reaching the ridge, Ethan ordered the remaining troops to dig in. There were fewer than 50 left now, huddled behind makeshift barricades. He knew they couldn't hold forever. Communication with the dropship failed. They were cut off. Desperation clawed at his chest, but he forced himself to focus. They needed a plan. Mia approached him, her face streaked with mud and sweat. "Sir, we're not going to make it," she said quietly. Her tone wasn't defeatist. It was matter of fact. "We'll find a way," Ethan replied, though doubt crept into his own words. As if mocking him, another wave of creatures surged from the tree line below. This time they brought reinforcements, larger, more grotesque variants that seemed impervious to small arms fire. Liam stepped up beside Ethan, reloading his weapon. "If we're going down, let's take as many of these bastards with us as we can." Ethan nodded grimly. "Prepare charges. We'll blow the ridge and collapse it onto them." It was a desperate gamble, but it bought them time. While some held the line, others rigged explosives along the cliff face. When the beasts closed in, Ethan gave the order. The resulting detonation sent tons of rock tumbling down, crushing dozens of the creatures beneath. The shockwave knocked the humans off their feet, but they survived. For a moment, there was silence. The surviving soldiers regrouped, counting heads. Only 12 remained. Among them was Ethan, battered but alive, but their reprieve was short-lived. Movement in the distance caught their attention. Hundreds of glowing eyes advancing through the smoke. "This is it," Maya murmured, gripping her rifle tightly. "No," Ethan said suddenly, realization dawning. "We need to reach the outpost. If we can activate its defense grid, we might stand a chance." Hope flickered weakly among the group. They moved quickly, navigating the treacherous terrain toward the coordinates of the outpost. Along the way, they encountered more horrors: carnivorous plants, ambush predators, and environmental hazards that tested their resolve. Each step felt like a miracle, each breath a defiance of death itself. Finally, they reached the outpost, or what was left of it. The structure was partially destroyed, its walls scorched and crumbling. Inside, the remnants of the original crew lay scattered, victims of both the beasts and internal salvage. Ethan led the way to the central control room, where he found the defense grid terminal intact. "Get this thing online," he ordered. Turning to Liam, who was tech-savvy, the corporal worked frantically, fingers flying over the holographic interface. Outside, the horde closed in, pounding against the weakened walls. With seconds to spare, the defense grid activated. Automated turrets deployed from hidden alcoves, raining destruction upon the encroaching army of beasts. The tide turned abruptly, the creatures falling back under relentless fire. Relief washed over the survivors, but it was fleeting. As dawn broke over the Deathworld, only Ethan remained standing. Exhaustion claimed the others one by one, their bodies succumbing to injuries sustained during the ordeal. Alone, he transmitted a final message to command, detailing their failure and their sacrifice. When the extraction team arrived days later, they'd found no sign of the battalion. Only Ethan, sitting amidst the ruins of the outpost, his rifle slung across his lap. His eyes were hollow, haunted by the weight of survival. And though he lived, part of him wished he hadn't.